Yes, my people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are live again. We are live again. This is your late vibes on a Tuesday evening. We're going to discuss all things Manchester United, and we have three wonderful gentlemen in the building with me. We got Fredman Chazo, the best guy for Freds on Twitter. And now that Twitter are paying some decent money, there may be more threads now that will be going viral on Twitter. Charlie, mate, how are you? Everything all good?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. I just saw the Wolves are going to get a new. Well, Lopetegui's left Wolves, so
wow,
yes,
we're going to have an interesting game on Monday night. Now, you know what I mean. But
oh my
yeah,
God,
man, I'm all good. I hope everyone's well. Big up everyone in the chat. Get your comments in. Get the likes up. Yeah, man. All the best.
Yeah.
Everyone. Come on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he just says here, Wolves have sacked their manager ahead of the game. Apparently, there was a mutual consent in terms of the sacking. So he wanted to go. There was no money involved. And Lopetegui's a good manager, so he won't find it hard to find a new job. But again, I don't believe in that new manager bouts on the first game of the season. I don't believe in that really, to be honest with you. But we got Sani that sports guy. I see the logo there. Where do you get them logos from on your mic? Because I'm looking to get one, man. Where did you get it from?
This logo I created myself.
Okay.
But I'll tell you the place where I can give you one of these windscreen covers. So I'll send you the link afterwards.
Man. Nah, big up to you. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good. It's a weird week. It's the week before the season starts, so always got that trepidation, nervousness, excitement all rolled into one. I'm blessed to be here. Make sure you smash a like if you're joining in the live. And yeah, can't wait to get stuck into the chat.
Yeah, definitely, man. And we got man like Adam taking his time out of his day. You know what I mean? I know he studies hard, but always a blessing to see you on the channel, Adam. How are you?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that, man. All good, nothing to complain. And looking forward to this season. Starting to be a bit nervous, if I'm being honest. Now school is starting again, season is starting again. The cold winter is coming, mate. So
yes,
let's see how it goes,
man. It's true indeed, man. No, Sani is not from Canada. Sani's from Birmingham, is it? Birmingham,
correct. I'm from the same neck of woods as Charlie.
Charlie, there you go. So got Brum, Manchester, and Canada. So it's a vast panel. No Harsh today. He's at football training. Couldn't make it today, but big up to Harsh as always. But we've got a lot to discuss. You know, we've got Hojlund, bizarre injury concern. We've got McTominay and Maguire. West Ham are not willing to overpay on that one. Wan-Bissaka, maybe a new contract for him. And yeah, literally just looking forward to the game on Monday. But Charlie, I'm going to put this up here. There was a report coming from the Daily Mail, and people say the Daily Mail's not a credible source, but it did say here that Rasmus Hojlund is nursing a back injury that will limit his playing time at the start of the season. And there was also something around the fact that some sources at United had indicated that Hojlund's back injury issue is more serious than the club disclosed after completing his transfer from Atalanta last week. And I think there's something going on that he will not maybe able to play 2 games a week. Apparently it's a stretch fracture on the back, which would lead to a lengthy layoff. I don't know, there's 2 ways you can look at the story, Charlie. No smoke without fire, or sensationalism in journalism. You know what I mean? Why would you report that? I don't know, for me. But how did you view it? I don't know if you read it in the report. Have you seen anything about it? How did you kind of view the report and what you were kind of, seeing in that aspect?
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bit confused about it all, to be honest with you. I'm in 2 minds. I've got 2 theories. Theory number 1, it's perfectly legitimate, and he has got a slight injury that's going to leave him out for a few weeks. I think he did train with the team today, apparently, but it was just light training or something like that. I think that came from the Muppeteers, or something like that, that I've read. He did do a little bit of training, but obviously I don't think he's quite ready to play yet. So maybe number 1, he's not quite fully fit. Or number 2, maybe this is all a ploy from Erik ten Hag or whatever to try and take the pressure off him coming into the club. That's something that somebody else had mentioned, and that's actually an interesting point. Like, is this, because it's very interesting, they said he can't play 2 games a week. It's quite interesting. As if we're going to like embed him in slowly, start him in one game and then maybe put him on the bench for the next game and slowly integrate him in so that there isn't as much pressure on him, because we could say, oh, he's not performed because he's still got maybe a slight knock, etc. So to be honest with you, Si, let's just wait and see. I think we could have a couple of different scenarios here, but I don't think we should jump the gun too much because, as you said, journalism, the media, and as somebody's just typed in the chat, he's not injury prone at all. I think he's had one injury. He's had like one or 2 injuries in the past that have not been serious. So I think this is either just a bit of bad luck that he's got a slight injury, or it could actually be a ploy from the club or Ten Hag. It could be over exaggerated to take the pressure off him. I don't know.
Ten Hag did say in the press conference, he says it's difficult to say how that process will go, but I think he's making good progress. We have to see day by day how the process will go. So a lot of words about process, but he's just said here it's difficult to say how that progress will go, but I think he's making good progress. We will have to see day by day how this progress will go. Sani, I don't know if that's really nothing to kind of get yourself into there, but do you think it's a weird one? You know, I mean, a lot of people are obviously joking around saying Arsenal's club doctor, you know, it's not been great. We signed him from Arsenal. We were like, that's a big signing, you know, taking their key man away from them. But yeah, what do you think in that aspect in terms of, you know, the injury? It's come out of nowhere, obviously, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess we'll just wait and see how it progresses, as Ten Hag kept saying. But it's an interesting one because the thing is, if we have signed him, and I'm pretty sure the chat keeps saying it as well, and let's say he's injured, why did the medical team not pick this up? That's a very legitimate question. Like, people forget, I'm not saying it's the same injury, but when we signed Ruud van Nistelrooy that season, the season before, we were meant to sign him, but he got injured. What happened? Injury happened, medical team was there, signing didn't happen. The season after, we did. I'm not saying this would have been the same case with Hojlund, but let's say it's a back injury. And you never know with these back injuries what actually happens to him. People forget with Saliba's injury last season. That's the reason why he was out, because of the back injury. They weren't going to risk him, because if they risked him, he might not be starting this season for Arsenal. So that was one thing to definitely consider. But I think they just says, trust the progress. With Ten Hag, you've got to trust the process. Now, I know some people might like the NBA, but the Philadelphia 76ers, they have that famous saying, trust the process. And I think with Ten Hag, we've got to trust the process. Charlie's theory might come to fruition. It might be a thing to, you know, ease him off, keep that pressure off him. Or it could be like a genuine case that he's injured. I mean, you mentioned at the start about the Daily Mail. I've always said to people, there are certain newspapers in this country, be that tabloid or even Broad Street, to be fair, that when it comes to news articles, take it with a pinch of salt. Because I know last week, was it? I can't remember which news media outlet it was talking about, you know, Mason Greenwood, for example. I won't trust it unless it's official, you know what I mean? Or someone from a credible source. So let's see what happens. Like Charlie said, can't read too much into it. As Ten Hag keeps saying, it's progress. We'll see what the progress is saying come this weekend. And I guess we'll go from there. But it is alarming to think our medical team didn't pick up on that, because it's a pretty big thing to say, you know. You're signing someone potentially going to be starting for us come this season, and if he's already injured, then it's not a good look for the team. But like Charlie said, let's see. Unless
they're just trying to create a scaremongering, because he's already out injured. They've kind of looked at something and they've put, you know what, let's put 2 and 2 together. He's out injured, let's per se, even though he's not injured, he's out taking rest. So let's put a situation where, what can we talk about? Maybe it's his back, and a back injury is something that they've probably looked at, that he's probably got Atalanta, and put 2 and 2 together. So I think it is sensationalism. I hope it's one of them. But then I'm like, there's no smoke without fire. I always say, people, there is never smoke without fire. The key point here was that someone said that the medical did take 2 days longer. Normally, medicals are like 1 day. You know, the medical, I don't know why, for some reason, it took 2 days. They had to do it in stages. Again, is that something to be concerned by in that aspect? You know, I know, you know, Alien Tenno say they're 60 million down the drain, Hojlund again. But listen, man, I don't know, man. We've got to be very careful on this subject, because we need a striker, Adam, man. I know Martial is out there. I don't know if he's been chilling with Martial or I don't know what he's been doing, man. I'm being serious. Like, what's going on, man? Because boy, we need a striker. I'm not looking to watch Rashford for me. What? At least a minimum of 3 games. I'm willing to watch Rashford up front. After that, we need to move on now. Or do we go into the market? I don't know.
Yeah, that would be the best option, to be honest, because now we would have Hojlund and someone else. This would be clearly the first and the best option. But like Charlie said, I'm a bit confused as well with he can't play too much or he won't be able to play 2 games. Like that feels very, very precise and very specific. How can you predict how an injury is going to react? How can you do it in a math equation like that much minute is going to equal like he's going to get hurt or something? How do you put that out there? What does it come? Maybe he just can't play, or there's a risk. If there's a risk of him being injured playing more than 1 game a week, that means there's a risk of him getting injured at any time. This doesn't make sense to me. He would always get injured. So that's why I'm a bit confused. I'm really, let's wait and see. And it happened in the past that you sign players and they are injured, but then they have not passed the medical. Like they didn't successfully complete the medical. You can do an exam and you can fail it. And this, to me, it feels a bit like that. You can do a medical and then you're not fit. You have an injury and the club is aware and then they go on to sign. But I think we had confirmation that he completed the medical. So all of this feels very, very weird to me, like very vague. So
yeah,
I don't know. I really don't know. And like you said, not here to have Rashford up front. I agree with you on that. But then again,
Saliba's injury. Saliba injury, was it a back injury, Saliba?
It was a back injury. Was a back.
Yeah, and his was very, very delicate, man. I've had back injuries before, man. They just kind of almost disrupt your whole body. You can't really have that lateral movement. You can't have that movement where you're kind of like free in a sense, man. Your back is your spine, innit? It carries your whole body, whether you're running, whether you're sprinting, whether you're kind of making a stretch. Your back is your spine in a sense. So you need to even look at Rashford's injury. Was Rashford, did he not have a back injury as well towards the end of 2020-21 season?
Yeah.
I think it was. And then he had his shoulder after that. So I think for me, it's one of them. Big up to Michelle. She says, "Hey, is this why he had limited minutes last year, managing a stress fracture?" I don't know if that's true. He had limited minutes last year in terms of that. I mean, Charlie, do you have the stats on his minutes last year?
Yeah.
For Atalanta.
Yeah, he played 32 league games, but he only played the equivalent of 20 full games. So, yeah. So I think it was actually because he was just some games he didn't perform. He's inconsistent, obviously, because he's young. They also have Zapata, Muriel, Lookman, and Hojlund. So they had 4 options for the front.
Yeah.
They had a lot. It's similar to like United's 99 team. I mean, when they had like 4 options in those attacking areas. So I think that's why he was rotated out, and because he was inconsistent, obviously. But he did score. If you look at his goals per minute, they were actually quite good stats. But yeah, he's injured. I don't think, as far as I'm aware, I don't think this is an injury that he's been nursing sort of throughout last season. I think this is something that's just come quite recently, from what I can see. It's a strange one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a very, very strange one for me, man. Like I said, you know what I mean? I'm not really being negative around this. My one is more curious. I'm not worried. I'm just curious as to what's going on. The thing with Saliba injury, though, he didn't play. And I think for me, there was a reason why he didn't play. Like it was almost as if it wasn't severe. He came off the pitch normal. But what happens after that is when you rest your body, it's very, very difficult then to get back into the groove. How do you then make them long, marauding runs? How do you then, release your legs and kind of get into that fast, explosive energy? You know what I mean, Sadi? Like for him, he needs that. That's his game, right? That's his game. He needs that explosive energy.
He does. And the thing is, you don't want to risk it. Like I said earlier about Saliba, there's a reason why Arsenal didn't risk it. Yeah, fine, they were going for the league, etc. We're just starting out at the start of the season. We've got a new striker. We want to start off fresh with a striker, give him time. You don't want to risk it. So with his back injury, let's say it's worst case scenario and he's out for a couple of months. So be it. But if we try and risk it by playing him because we're worried about who our options are, number 9, as Delaney says here, It's not looking good, Brev. And Adam mentioned it about striker. I know we've been on the show plenty of weeks over the last couple of weeks. We've always reiterated the point that going into the season, we needed 2 strikers, to be honest with you, because we've seen what Wout Weghorst came out with today. With his
I thought he was re-signing for us,
So did I. So did
I was like,
oh my
what's
God.
going on here?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, please don't say that. Like, obviously, nobody wants Martial, if we're being honest. So we're going into the season with potentially Marcus Rashford as our number 9 because Hojlund is injured. And we need another striker. So who that striker might be, I don't know, because the options out there, they don't look favourable. So it could be an interesting start to the season, that is, for Manchester United's number 9, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Crates 06, we have just discussed at the start of the show. Lopetegui has been sacked, but listen, I said it on Bleacher Report and I said it here, man. There is no manager bounce at the start of the season when everyone's fit and ready. They've rarely bought a player. They've lost a lot of players. So United should be beating, you know what I mean, Wolves, regardless of Hojlund if he doesn't start or not. Again, you never know in football. I'm not discrediting it or discounting it, but United should do the job. Memphis asking here, would you take Watkins? Listen, I think United would take Watkins. I don't think anybody wouldn't take Watkins. Is he on the first choice list? Probably not. But I think Aston Villa value him close to, I reckon, 50 to 80 million in around there. I genuinely think that to get Ollie Watkins now, you'd have to pay big, big money, more than you think he is.
See, I think what could be an absolute shout, right? But obviously, it's going to be something for January. I know we're only in August, but Ivan Toney could be available in January. Put a cheeky bid in for him when he comes back from Brentford.
Yeah, that's a good option. Yeah. You know what? You're spot on, I think you're right. I think you're spot on. If Ivan Toney is available, why not go for him? But the problem is, though, I think United, because of the Greenwood thing now, and obviously what's going on there, I don't think they want any more drama, if I'm being really honest with you. Big up to Billy Jones. I appreciate the donation, my friend. He goes, a question for all of you. Is Amrabat really the midfielder we need? He played well in the World Cup, but international football doesn't always correlate. McTominay is a prime example. He's been quite average at Fiorentina. You know what? I think for me, if you watch Fiorentina a lot, I get your point, but I think for me, there's enough qualities we've seen in big moments. I think this guy's a big moment player. If you look at the Conference League final, he was probably the standout player. Morocco, the standout player alongside, you know what I mean, Ziyech, and I think the centre back as well was amazing. I think what United need, and when you look at the market right now and you look at what DM is going around, I think Amrabat is very, very much a player. Would I kind of compare it to in that example of McTominay? Not for me, because at big game moments, has he produced? Not for me. I don't know if so I'm just speaking for myself, but I mean, does anyone agree with the super chat here, the comment here, or do you think he's been very harsh on Amrabat in that aspect?
He's been harsh. I'm going to let Adam go first because I know he's chomping at the bit to talk about his Moroccan compatriot.
Get it out, man. Defend your man.
Well, like I said many times, man, I just love Sofiane Amrabat. So it's very, very easy to me. But to be honest, I think he's very good as well. Like what I saw from him, and I don't watch Fiorentina, to be honest, but every time I watch him play, he has good basics. Like the fundamentals are good. And that you can always rely on. Good first touch, good passing, good strength, good pace. Everything is good. It's not something very basic is poor in his game. So he will give you many, many good aspects. So in that regards, I think he's an improvement on probably almost everyone we have in the midfield that are probably going to leave. Because when you consider everything plus the cost, I think it's a very, very, very good signing. Very good signing. Like, of course, I'm biased. I will I am. Clearly, I am. I want a Moroccan at Manchester United. I want this to happen. But I think he's good. Like, I would be very, very concerned if he went to a rival, because I think he would strengthen any team, and I'm much rather have him in my team than anywhere else. And my biggest nightmare is just Liverpool doing something sneaky, because if a Moroccan plays for Liverpool, boy, that would be a long year and long contract.
That would kill you, man. That would definitely kill you, man. Guys, over 800 of you in the building. Make sure you guys are smashing the likes upon the video, man. It helps the channel out massively to go out to different people around YouTube. And hits the algorithm. So if you would do, people, hit the like button right now. And make sure you're following everyone's channels. Third Man Chazzo, Sani, that sports guy, and Adam Manred on Twitter. But again, it poses a question though, Charlie, you know what I mean? Do you reckon Ten Hag would be tempted for a striker again, or do you think he's just like, you know what, it was stressful enough getting in Hojlund in there. Do you reckon there's someone out there that Ten Hag would want if the Hojlund situation does become serious and he is out for a little bit longer than what we originally feared? Because come on, man, he ain't using him or Harry Kane. They said, I'm saying he's around somewhere. Did
you see the report today? I think Harry Kane's now likely to stay.
Yeah,
likely to stay. So next season, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not signing a contract though.
Yeah, so he's just going to leave for free.
Okay,
for free. Yeah, for free. Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, you've got next summer? I know it's a bit of a dream, but imagine, like, I expect us this season. I don't expect us to challenge for the title. That's my real. I just don't expect it to happen. I want it to happen, and I expect us to finish at least third and at least win one trophy, because that's at least what we did last season, right? That's what I want to see. But like, can you imagine next season? You've got a season of Hojlund. He can only get better. Right? He surely can't get any worse, right? Let's hope not. He's only going to get better, and then next season he's getting slightly better. Maybe he's not quite ready to start week in, week out in the league still. Maybe he still needs to develop. And then you bring Harry Kane in, bang, straight into the team, and you've got Hojlund behind him. Now, that is the dream, but I don't think that's going to happen. And I honestly think we're going to wait to see what happens with the Greenwood situation. I think that's going to be the deciding factor. I think it's looking more and more likely he's going to come back. But for me, if you take all the morality out of it, if you look at his actual, like, if you talk just about a footballer not having played for that many months, if we do bring X or Y player back that hasn't played for that long, it's going to take them a long time to get back into it.
Exactly.
So we really do need another striker, no matter what you think about Greenwood. Martial, I think you've just got to discount him because he's not reliable enough. Yeah. So I actually think we do need another striker, but I don't think we're going to sign one, because I think the club will bring Greenwood back, and we know the club have this one in, one out policy. We can only sign Todibo if we sell Maguire. We can only sign Amrabat if we sell Fred and Donny probably. So how are we going to find a striker? I know we've let Weghorst go, but obviously we brought Hojlund in. So in the club's eyes, we'd need to sell Martial to get another striker. That's how our club works. One out, one in.
Nobody wants Martial, though. Nobody wants Martial. It's sad.
So that's why I don't see it happening. That's why I don't see it happening.
Big Ben says here, Callum Wilson, bad shout. Salam, Adam, big up all.
He ain't leaving
Callum
Newcastle.
Wilson, but he's not leaving Newcastle. They're in dreamland. He's for me. I think he's a very, very good shout in terms of a very, very kind of not reliable goal scorer, but just a person who would be a threat. But again, it's just there's not enough of them, man. What happened to these players? What would just be below? I remember Wayne Rooney. There was Jermaine Defoe behind him. You had Peter Crouch. You had so many players in that league where you can think, you know what? Can we go and get him? I would love a Jermaine Defoe now in this modern era, man.
Bagsman.
Like, there's not a Jermaine Defoe, is there, man? It's sad, but you know what I mean. He's but again, you know what? You're right. He's not. I'm saying in terms of you would get at least 10 to 15 goals out of Callum Wilson if he was fit and ready, because he is injury prone. You're like a Darren Bent, like these kind of players, they're not around anymore, man. You know what I mean? Like,
we're going to see names like Yakubu pop up at this rate, and Viduka and all sorts.
Yeah. Like, get these kind of players, man. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think for me, they're not around anymore where you could pinch these kind of players. I'm even looking at the lower leagues. Like, I'm looking at even like, who would you get from the lower leagues in this Premier League like that would be attainable? Like, say now, I'm not looking at the Championship, looking at Premier League. Below us now. Who would you take from below top 8, top 9? Who would you take from the Premier League?
I mean, this player's gone. I think he's gone to Saudi, but I would have taken Mitrovic at Man United. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think I would have as well.
I like his tenacity. I know he got sent off at Man United in the FA Cup at Old Trafford, but I just liked what he had about him. I know Fulham are now signed Raul Jimenez, but there's something about him that I really, really liked. I wish we got him when we had the chance.
Are you talking, Said, about like maybe just a 1-year contract or 2 years, something just in between?
2-year contract. Yeah, just a little something.
Yeah, below. Given the situation we're in, and that might sound a bit funny, where with Leicester relegated, I would have made a very cheeky bid for Jamie Vardy, to be honest.
Jamie Vardy.
He's fit. He runs a lot. You have one. He has scored many goals in Premier League. He's a Premier League winner, by the way. And look,
that's a good shout.
He wouldn't cost a lot of money.
You know what? This one here, nah, man. He's
3 years ago, maybe. 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah. You know what's mad, yeah? En-Nesyri, you know, from Sevilla.
Yeah, another Moroccan. You know what? I'd love him.
You know what's with him, yeah? He's a big game player, you know. He's a big game player, man. En-Nesyri's a big game player. So,
you know what, Saeed?
I don't know.
You know who I would have taken? I would have taken Schumacher from West Ham before he went to Atalanta.
Yeah, Schumacher as well, yeah.
Yeah, 100% big up Staffy. You know what? I think what it is I think Nuruddin said it on Monday, by the way. He said he'd take Che Adams at, Southampton. You know, Ben Yedder, again, Ben Yedder, what's happened to him? How old is he now, Ben Yedder? Let me check right now.
I think he's 28, but might be wrong.
Is he only 28? He seems to have been around.
No, he's 32. He's 32.
Oh, God, yeah, that clearly shows my age, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's 33 in August, though. That's the problem.
He's been around for time, he has.
Yeah, but I don't know. He'd bag goals, though, man.
You know who I thought would have been a decent signing? I know people might be like, oh, he doesn't score that many goals, but just a profile striker, I think would have been right. But he looks like he's going to sign a new contract. I think Morata could have been a decent shout, just for a season.
I hear that.
Just what his style of play, I think would have been nice to get our wingers a bit more involved. But he looks like he's signing another contract with Atletico. So, yeah, but I mean, the chats keeps going off side. That the G-man keeps getting referred. I know Charlie mentioned him earlier, but it looks like people want him back as well. All of
You know what it is, though?
Yeah.
We don't know what the club are waiting for. Obviously, they're going to wait for the right moment to kind of say things and whatnot. I think ultimately, it might be that situation, and then we kind of go from there. I would have said anyone in the youth academy, but I don't think anyone else is good enough. I'm quite surprised, the academy hasn't produced any top strikers, I mean, back in the day, we used to have Wilson, but he then didn't really materialize. Who else did we have, like, strikers-wise that, we had the brothers, remember Will Keane and Tom Keane? But he's now at Preston North End, so he's not really done well. What's happened to our youth academy, man? Like, Arsenal produced Balogun. Chelsea have produced, Chelsea, Abraham. Man City have got,
Borges as well.
Not really, anyway.
Borges.
Sorry? Yeah, Borges. Carlos Borges.
Borges.
They're all going to City. That's what's happening, side. All the kids are going to City's academy.
That's what I'm saying. We're producing a lot of wingers, but we're not producing a lot of strikers, and maybe that's the way football's going now. Like, nobody wants to maybe be a striker anymore. I don't know, man. Maybe that's why there's
we are moving to one striker compared to two strikers in the past, and that is very different and very difficult. To be a lone striker, you need to be good at everything. It's very hard to be a lone striker, because if you have the Lewandowskis, Benzema's, Suarez, Torres, but those are elite strikers. The rest of the strikers we've had in the past 20, 30 years in the Premier League, if you think about it, it's always a partnership, especially in England, where most teams are playing 4-4-2. So it's always someone like, you have an Owen and a Heskey. You have a partnership, Dwight and Cole, and you always have someone next to someone. And that's why, for example, players like Marcus Rashford or Kylian Mbappe, I struggle to know where they fit, because they need someone next to them. Because Rashford is not a winger, and Rashford is not a striker, but he's a forward. So where does he fit? So that's why Rashford is not in my team, because you need to accommodate everything to fit him. I don't think he's good enough as a winger. I don't think he's good enough as a striker. But if you pair Rashford with someone like, I don't know, Olivier Giroud, for example, I think you could get a very, very good version of Marcus Rashford in that type of setup. And British and English football throughout the years has been a target man and someone. Like, if you had Michael Owen today, for example, well, where would you play him? You wouldn't play Owen as a lone striker. He wouldn't fit. He wouldn't be good enough to hold it and bully defenders and be like that presence. But he's not really a left winger either, is he? So it's a bit of a sticky one. So you have a shift in strikers throughout the year. So that's why when you have someone like Erling Haaland or Harry Kane, when you do anything you can get, anything you can to get them, to be honest, because those are actually very rare at the moment.
Yeah. No, you're spot on. I think you're spot on in that regard. I think it's but then again, like Nicole says here, we're gonna play Sancho as a false nine for a bit. He's an option that again I know people don't want to discuss it, but he could be an option. I mean, I reckon it's more likely that he probably has to master that position, Charlie, in that false nine, rather than playing on the wing. I don't think it suits him on the wing. I don't think he's got that explosiveness. He might do it in the odd home game when we need to and where he can play against them, maybe in the Carabao FA Cup, but all in all, man, he's looking like he's enjoying that role there in that false nine. But do you really believe he could do it in the Premier League though, when it's backs against the goal and you've got the crowd on your neck and you don't really control that first touch and you know what I mean? The crowd want to see running behind because that's what Old Trafford loves. They love pace, they love running in behind. Do you think it's going to work, or is it just been a pre-season kind of almost experiment in that aspect?
Well, I think that's what we need to find out, right? I think that's what we need to find out.
Yeah.
Like, you remember, and even everyone on this panel went to Old Trafford last season. I'm glad Adam got here, got to England. That was brilliant. But I don't know whether Sancho played when it was Sancho, wasn't it? He played when you were here.
Yeah, it was Sancho, Martial, and Anthony.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, and you might have noticed, like, I don't know whether I think we might have marginally won that game. I can't remember exactly which game it was now, but
Wolves,
like,
2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, I was facing Garnacho Island, the best day of my life. So I remember every single thing.
You remember what you had for lunch, what you had to drink at what time?
Exactly. I remember everything. I had Nando's for the first time that day. Everything took place.
But you might remember, like, Sancho, a lot of people at Old Trafford get on his back because particularly the older generation of Man United fans, they don't like patience and they want everything to be done at a million miles an hour like the old United used to play. And I don't think Sancho fits that bill perfectly, particularly when he's isolated one-on-one with a fullback. All that the fans want at Old Trafford is they want the winger to take on the fullback and beat him. That's what fans want to see at Old Trafford, right?
Yeah.
But we know that Sancho's not that type of player. And that's why I think Ten Hag has tried him in the false nine position. James. That's why I think Ten Hag has tried him in the false nine position, because he knows that he's best with runners around him. He's best in central areas, and he's got very, very quick feet in central areas. If you watch the games, that nutmeg in the last game of pre-season, that little nutmeg in the centre of the park,
that was lovely.
Yeah,
love that.
I need him to translate that to competitive games. If he can do that, 100%, he'll be in the team, and that's why I have him in my team for the Wolves game. I wouldn't have started Hojlund anyway. I wasn't going to start Hojlund anyway. I didn't think he was going to start anyway. I think it'll be Rashford, Hojlund, and Anthony. No, sorry, Rashford, Sancho, and Anthony. Sorry, I think that'll be the front three for that game. But I just think what you've got to do, Syed, is Ten Hag's got to make a key decision. Yeah. Because when Hojlund does come back, I think Rashford is still the second choice for number 9 ahead of Sancho in the false nine. I think Ten Hag will still use Rashford from time to time because he likes Garnacho on the left as well. So when is Sancho going to get game time? I think he might have to try and get into that number 8 position or number 10 position as well at certain times. I think that might be the only way he can get games as well as the false nine. But there's so much competition. We've got Eriksen, Mount, and Bruno now for those 2 midfield areas. So there's a lot of fluidity. There's lots of options. It's up to Ten Hag to decide what to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think for me, that's a very, very interesting idea. I think Pellistри's not been talked about enough, man. This guy, man, he's a special kid, man. But I think with Pellistri, it's similar to Martinelli. Like, I think I'm not trying to compare the two both together, but they're both from South America. They both come out of nowhere. They both came at a similar age, in 18 years old. I think Martinelli was just given the opportunity to play in big games. And I think for me, Pellistri will never know what he is if you don't play him in these kind of games. Like Wolves at home, like try it. But then again, I just don't think Ten Hag will have the guts to do it. Like, I'm not saying every game, but I think sometimes give him starts. Instead of getting him on the bench for 20 minutes, I think sometimes you've got to give him the start and let's see what he's like. But I don't know, man. I think Pellestri's a very, very intelligent footballer, man. He just gives defenders nightmare. But again, the loan situation that I'm hearing now is that now it might be a permanent loan. I don't know, a permanent. I think who's that club that came in? Bologna, is it Bologna? Let me see what. Yeah, Bologna are working to sign Facundo Palestri. MUFC are open to a loan with a right to buy. He has an Italian passport, meaning he wouldn't count as a non-EU signing. I think that would be a shame to kind of loan him out. Sorry, loan to permanent signing. For me, it's got to be a loan. But then again, what future does he have when Anthony's still there? Sancho is still there on that right-hand side. So it's very difficult, man. I just think he's got a very, very good future and a good temperament, and he's got good qualities that we don't have. Like, generally, Garnacho and him are so different to the rest because they like to be direct, but also they can be a bit selfless in the fact that they willing to put that ball in the box straight away. I don't know. I just think,
we need to give him a chance. We need to give him a chance, but it looks like he won't be given that chance, and it's annoying because we got Sancho and Anthony, who are playing in his position that he prefers to play. On the left, you got Rashford, Garnacho. I think Garnacho's probably been afforded more opportunities than Palestri, hence why I think his development is definitely higher than Palestri. But it's a shame if we don't give him a chance because, listen, we gave Diallo a chance on loan last season to Sunderland. Why can't Palestri have that option?
Now, by the way.
Yeah, he's out for a while. So if anything, you might be more inclined to keep Palestri for that depth. But the problem is, if you keep him and you don't play him, what's the point of him rotting on the bench? There's absolutely no point. There's no point in him coming on for the same profile of position that he played last year in terms of he'd come on for the last 25 minutes or not even 25 minutes, more like the last 15 minutes for a little run around in the Europa League. He's not really going to do him any benefit, for being honest. So how's that going to aid his development? So I think loan would be best option. But if we sell him, it might be one of those ones like, remember when we sold PK, it's because we didn't really give him opportunities. I understand why, because we had Vidic and Ferdinand. I'm not saying we're at the peak in terms of right wing where we've got, Anthony and Sancho playing week in, week out at the peak of their powers.
You never know, though, innit? You never know, man. In a different league, different environment, he could blow, man.
Exactly. So why risk it? Why risk it? We got rid of PK. He went to Barcelona. What did he do? Wins a sextuple in his first season. I'm not saying Palestri's going to do that with Bologna. What I'm saying is you got players with ability, players with talent. You want to give him a chance. Just give him on loan. Do not sell him or give him this option right to buy or whatever. Just put him on loan, I think. Give him that season off and go from there is what I would do.
Yeah. Piqué was a mad one when he left, to be honest.
Yeah, no. Crazy. You know what's crazy, though? When you think about it, though, I don't think there's been a plan when we bought these kind of players in. When you look at the fact that we bought in Ahmad and Palestri at the same time, like, I don't know what the plan was in terms of football in the structure of the football club. Like, was there an aim to kind of to be the first team by 2 or 3 years' time? Was it the aim to kind of maybe, the loan to make an opportunity to sell them on? If that's the case, then you buy these players on a relatively cheap and then you sell them on for 100 million. Like, what was the plan for Palestri and Ahmad? Like, I don't know. Obviously, Ollie ended up getting sacked and Nelly was kind of one of them. But what was the aim? Because they came in 2020. It's now 2023. Both of them are both 21 now. They should be really playing, I want to say first team football, but should be in around that first team bracket. He shouldn't be third, fourth choice as a 20-year-old. For me, especially with the kind of caliber of quality that they've got, both of them, they shouldn't be third or fourth choice in a right wing situation. But again, that's what happens when you maybe don't have a footballing philosophy. You come in and the manager says, "No, this is my plan. I want to bring 100 million Anthony in," and then it kind of like, you then have to play that player, so it's very tricky, man. It is very, very tricky. So Ten Hag has to find a way to make sure everybody's happy. Whether he's ruthless in that or he gives people, say, yo, listen, you're playing Champions League, you're going to play Carabao Cup, FA Cup, you're going to play 20 minutes here, or just maybe when you come on, if you make an impact, you play your turn and you play your way. So let's see. Kobe Minov's doing that, to be fair, though. Kobe Minov took his opportunity, and I think he's more than ready, to be honest with you. So we'll see on that one. I wanted to discuss McTominay and Maguire. Boy, this saga, I don't know what's going on, but it looks like it's not turned out the way we wanted to turn out. I don't know if you guys see the latest news on Maguire. West Ham are not willing to overpay on Maguire. Charlie, where are you in that camp? Give him what he wants, do what they want. Where are you in terms of that situation there, bro?
Right. So
order.
This is an interesting one, right? So, like, I want Harry Maguire and McTominay both to leave the club. I think it's best for both of them to go, right? I think Maguire is more urgent to get rid of because I think that even if we sell Fred and Van der Beek, I think Amrabat's still going to come in. But I think if we don't sell Maguire, Todibo or like whoever coming at centre back's not going to come. And Maguire, he's on much bigger wages than McTominay. It's just a complete mess. He's getting booed in the stadium, which I don't think is right. I know people have their own opinions, but I don't think it's right to single out a player like booing him. I just don't think it's very, very toxic. He's not performing incredibly well. I don't think he's been awful in preseason. I think he's had some decent games at times. I think he's had some poor moments, but I don't think he's been absolutely terrible. I just think he's made a big mistake, obviously, in the last game, but I don't think he's been absolutely dreadful. But I just think it's come to the end. And I think 30 million is I think that's more than a fair price. I think he is worth about that. I think McTominay we could probably push for 35. Possibly push up towards 40. The reason why I say that is because West Ham went for Gallagher, didn't they? And they didn't get him. They're obviously bringing Edson Alvarez in, but West Ham have had a terrible pre-season. If you go, that guy on Twitter, West Ham Central, I think.
Yeah, West Ham Central, yeah.
Yeah, and you see under their thing, all the comments like, we're going to get relegated, and the West Ham fans are acting mad. They're going absolutely crazy. And they desperately, desperately need players in. West Ham, absolutely desperately. And let's not kid ourselves. Maguire and McTominay would be good fits for West Ham. Yeah. Like maybe not for us, but Harry Maguire for West Ham, I think David Moyes is going to give him the captaincy if he goes as well.
Yeah, of course.
He's going to be an important player for them. Maguire can play for a mid-table bottom half team and he would be a good player for them. Same for McTominay. So to be honest, Saeed, I think Maguire, I think 30 million we probably should have accepted. I think that was fair because of his wages as well. Don't forget about that. But I think McTominay, I think we could get an extra 5 to 10 million. Do I really want it to go on much longer and risk that they walk away? Yeah. I'm not quite sure. I'll leave that to the rest of you. But I think 70 million for the pair would be brilliant business from our side. Brilliant.
This is the thing, though. Do we be greedy or do we trust the kind of situation to materialize? I think it's a race against time for Man United. It's what Man United want first. Man United want to bring in Todibo, which we'll discuss. We want to bring in Amrabat. We need to find out what's going on with Fred, how much we're going to sell him for. But it's a race against time. You then keep them while the season's going on. It just creates a bit further disruption. You know what I mean? West Ham then can find out other solutions. I don't know. I just think for me, cut your losses and just move on. I think you've paid enough anyway. 85 million. You can't justify making a bit of money. What are you justifying? You're already 35 million loss anyway, or whatever. How much you are on loss? 50 odd million on Maguire, and then McTominay was a free because he's from the academy. So I think Man United have done that to that. And by the way, James, I did say 20 to 30 million. So I'm actually quite correct. I said 30 million and West Ham will probably want at that point. Where do you go from this signing? Because at the end of the day, there's got to be a book. It's got to be somewhere where we can stop because, you know what I mean? We've made a loss on Maguire anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's a loss either way.
Yeah, there's definitely a loss. But at the same rate, can you really accept something like 30 million for Harry Maguire? Because, like Charlie said, he will go to West Ham and he will do a job. Just because it hasn't worked out for Harry Maguire at Manchester United does not mean he's a shit footballer, as much as football Twitter might tell you other players. Like, we see him at England all the time. I've seen him play for England playing time. I go to a lot of England games. He does a fantastic job for them. There's a reason why many teams, they'd actually really appreciate Harry Maguire, especially in a back three, for example. If he slots in nicely there, he could do really well for him. I think with Scott McTominay, I don't know, it's weird. I've got a soft spot for Scott McTominay. I don't know why. Probably because I see him play for Scotland and I just love his passion and stuff. But again, it's time for him to go as well. But the thing is, yes, fine. Sometimes you've got to walk away and sometimes you might be thinking, am I going to get a better deal like this ever again? But then again, you don't want to kind of cut your own nose just for the sake of it. Because I think personally, minimum Maguire, 40 million. And I think with Scott McTominay, I know Charlie said 35, even 30. So I think Charlie's spot on with a 70 mil overall. whether we kind of get 35, 35, I think that's fine. I think if we get at least minimum 70 and go from there, I think we're all right. But like you said, it's a race against time. Do we get Todibo in is another question. Because if we get rid of Maguire, we have to get another centre-back in.
This is what I'm saying, Adam. Big up to Viva Benga for the super chat there. You know, it's you know what it is, yeah? I think ultimately, if we were selling to a rival, I'd want a little bit more. But we're selling to West Ham, man. West Ham are no rivals to us. They're probably going to be in around the relegation spot area again. They haven't done enough. They've lost a few key players. Declan Rice, they've lost. Skamaka, they've lost. You know what I mean? They've lost so many key players, man. It wouldn't surprise me next season you getting Bowen in there and losing him. So I don't know, Adam. Listen, I think for me, waiting around for, I reckon, possibly another couple of days. Imagine this doesn't get done by the weekend. We're then into the season. Then West Ham, do they get desperate, or is it a good tactic for them to get desperate when the season starts? Because then we need to go and guy our players as well, and we've got to be quick with that aspect as well.
Yeah, because you know what? I wouldn't risk West Ham walking away, to be honest. I don't think we can take that risk, because I don't think, like, McTominay and Maguire are not going to be starters for us. So their value is not going to improve. So
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so the best offer you get this window is the best offer you're going to get for them. And look, like you said, I'm always trying to do those like mental gymnastics to make it work. So we spent 80 million on Maguire. McTominay is from our academy. So if you tell me 60 million, we're only 20 million in loss for Maguire. Just lie to yourself and make it feel like you just lost 20 million. And that's fine. I would take it. And look, like, you know where I stand on both of them, to be honest. But I think it's not that unfair of an offer, especially for players who are not playing that well. They are not starters for us. And we need to remember who we are. We are not here to make money. We are here to spend money, to be honest. Like, we want them done, so we spend the money. We are not Dortmund. We are not Benfica or Porto. We just need them to go so we can buy other players. And we always praise Chelsea for how they do business. But they make good money out of their players. But first, they sign better players than we do. And they accept many deals. They accept 7 million. They accept 20. Sometimes they accept 40. Sometimes they accept 20, 25, 30. And at the end of the window, they just raise 150 million in many little bits here and there. If you sell Fred, if you sell Donny, if you sell McTominay, Maguire, Dean Henderson.
How many of them are value, though? How many of them are of value? Maybe McTominay, in a sense, Scotland international, he's got a decent pedigree to score a few goals in a season. How many of them are of value? Donny van de Beek, Fred. Like, they're not punching their prime, are they? You know what I mean? They're not. Even Donny van de Beek, I can't give you enough. Like, if someone was to write a resume or a kind of, I don't know. Sometimes, what is it that sometimes you write on behalf of your employer? You write something for them, don't you?
Reference.
Sorry?
A reference.
Yeah, reference. Like, bro, I can't write a reference for these lot. Bro, I'm struggling to write a reference.
They're gonna be at the job centre the way Saeed's talking. They're gonna be at the job centre, like looking on the dole or something. What the hell, man?
Bro, trust me, man. I can't write a reference for these guys, man. I'm like, yo.
You know what, Saeed? To be honest, I have to go regarding Donny van de Beek. Every time that man plays in our team, we play well. Like, if you take a look at preseason, even the last game, when he went off, when he got subbed, the performance dropped massively. And every time he plays, you get all of the other players playing. And if you ask me now, if we sign Amrabat now, and you tell me which midfield I pick Casemiro, Amrabat, and Donny van de Beek ahead of both Bruno and because every time that guy plays, have you noticed that when Donny van de Beek plays, Sancho is an unreal player?
Yeah, I've noticed that as well a little bit. Yeah, you're right, to be fair, in that aspect.
Yeah, have you noticed that when he plays, usually the other players like Ahmad and Pellistri play, and they look proper players, and they make good combination. Have you noticed that McTominay played with Donny van de Beek, and McTominay was one of our best players, to be honest, every time he played. I think he was all right. Everyone plays better when Donny plays in the team, even though you can't say that Donny had an amazing game. And when you have everyone looking for a pass, suddenly the performance improves massively. So to be honest, like, he needs to go because we need him to go to buy other players. But man, I think he's part of our best team, Donny van de Beek. Really is.
No, I heard that. I heard that. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think for me, I'm past it in terms of Donny van der Beek. The reason why I say that is because I'm not gonna lie to you. I wouldn't mind him part of the squad because I think he's something. He gives us something different. But to start him, I'm not sure he would offer us what Bruno Fernandes definitely would offer us in terms of the final third action, scoring goals,
He would offer much more.
assisting.
He would offer
You
much
might
more.
play better in a team. I think he might be better in the team, but I think output. I don't know if they would bring the output. That's the problem.
But the thing is,
you know what is with Donny? He doesn't put himself in the positions that I think Bruno and Mount would put. That's why I don't think he's got that drive to. He plays a little bit safe in that aspect of he's tidy. He's a tidy footballer. Facilitate for others. But in terms of getting in the box, where Mount and Bruno possibly would be, I don't think he would do that eight times out of 10. That's my own humble opinion, bro.
Yeah, I hear that. But the thing is, it's not you play well and everyone plays well, and it stops there. And then the alternative is Bruno and Mount get goals. If he plays well and he improves everyone, we score more goals. We play better.
Yeah, because I agree.
At the moment, Mount and Bruno, they can do whatever they want, but they are not we are not playing very well with them. Of course, it's only preseason and we have to wait. But to be honest, they wouldn't get. To be honest, the way I see it is just so much better. I think he offers so much more, Donny van de Beek, than Bruno does, to be honest. And he has never been given a chance. He has never. He had that bad injury, but before that, he never had a run of 6, 7, 10 games on the trot. He never had that, and that is unfair to me. And when you look at it, every time he plays well. And how can you expect him to score when he plays with the second team and when he doesn't play? Because if you look back at his Ajax days, I think he had quite a fair amount of goals and assists.
But this is where I'm like, why doesn't Ten Hag want to play him then? Why doesn't Ten Hag want to trust him? The guy that he built at Ajax and made him into a footballer. I think he's clearly seen that part of his game he has lost a little bit in terms of that intensity, in terms of what the Premier League gives you. Sometimes he might be a good player, but you might not suit the Premier League, Adam. And that's just where I kind of look at Donny van de Beek. He doesn't suit the Premier League and what it can give you. The intensity that he can give, he can't match Mount and Bruno. Sometimes he doesn't. He probably is a better player per se than Mount and Bruno, but in terms of actual what the Premier League needs, I don't think Donny van de Beek has it consistently week in, week out. I wouldn't be able to put my neck on the line, but I probably would put my neck on the line of maybe Bruno performing, maybe 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4 games in that aspect. Donny, maybe 1 out of 4. I'd expect him to probably perform, and that for me is not what the Premier League is all about. You got to be consistent. You're gonna say something there, Sonny?
No, I was just gonna say the same thing with Donny. I think the problem is he won't be given a chance because Bruno just has output. Yeah, and the thing is, whether people like to admit it or not, I know exactly where Adam is going with this in terms of he is a better player and he makes the team better. But the thing is, Bruno is he'll hit that killer ball. He'll have that pass that just unlocks the defense, that goal that just gets us back in the game, for example. And you can't negate that. And then with Mount coming in, I think Mount coming in was a final nail in the coffin for Donny van de Beek's career at Manchester United. I can't see how he gets a chance this season, to be honest. Maybe if a player gets injured, then he comes in. But then you still have like Eriksen there in one of those 2 positions as well. So it's a shame that it didn't work out. But I guess with a lot of Man United players, especially since post-Fergie, they've come in, just hasn't worked out. They're still a great player. They still have a lot of quality. Sometimes, I don't know what it is. Is it the Man United pressure? Is the shirt just too heavy for them? I don't know what it is. We were talking about backs and stress fractures. Maybe they've got too much load on their back. I don't know. Just like Saeed's got at the moment carrying YouTube. Make sure you smash the like, people. Like,
definitely. I was going to say that. Smash the like, people, man. We're carrying YouTube at the minute, man. Big up to you guys. But no, listen, it's interesting, man. How people perceive football. That's what it's about, man. Different opinions and different aspects of the way we kind of see football, man. It is interesting. There's a little bit I wanted to talk to you about in terms of Wan-Bissaka. Charlie, maybe a new contract pending for Wan-Bissaka. Is it necessary to give Wan-Bissaka a new contract now? I don't know. What do you think, bro?
What's his current contract? When does that expire?
He signed in
I think it's
2019.
2025. Yeah, he signed it in 2019. So I'm guessing.
He's part of the Maguire and James window.
Yeah, Dan James era people. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Oh, it says 2024. It says on. Oh yeah, summer 2024 it expires. It says on here.
Oh, is it?
So
damn.
See, I'm a bit. This right back situation is. I think people have got it the whole wrong way around. I really do. I mean, Diogo Dalot is still so inconsistent, and it really annoys me. Like Diogo Dalot, that mistake he made the other day, where he passed it and it was a bit short, and obviously the goalie Onana got lobbed. Obviously, a lot of people focus on Onana, but it was obviously Dalot who made the initial mistake, right? A lot of people now think Wan-Bissaka, like if you did a poll in the chat, you'd get who would you rather keep? It would be about 68% Wan-Bissaka and 30% Dalot. That's how you get it now. But I just disagree. I still think Dalot is a better player. I do think Wan-Bissaka has improved, and I do think Dalot is quite inconsistent still, and that's a big worry. Do I think either are fantastic, elite? No, I don't. So this is why I'm a bit confused, Saeed, because if we're going to offer them both new contracts, then what does that mean for the right back situation? Does that mean we're going to go and sign a right back? Are we just renewing both contracts to keep their transfer value high until we maybe move one on next season? I'm not quite sure. Because, as you said here, as it says here, is now viewed as an important player.
Important player, yeah. That's what I'm just seeing there now. Yeah,
I'm just a bit.
Player.
I don't think with Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, I don't think having those two as options, I don't think they'll ever be good enough to go and win a title with those two as the options. I think we need to upgrade on at least one of them, and that's my worry.
Yeah. Someone asked me before today, they said, would you be happy if Wan-Bissaka got a new contract now? Personally, for him, I would be, because he's improved massively. But I would wait until... The thing is, because he's out for a new contract and he's running out his contract, you've got to give him a contract now. But the problem is, you've just given out 2 new contracts out. Or you could do the situation where you can sign a new contract and then later on still sell them. You know, because I've seen them done before. Like, you can still sell them if they're in the contract. Whether we get enough money for him is a different question. But that right back situation, a lot of people online, Sani, are saying that United's problems are still the fullback areas. When I've said it's a midfield balance, people are saying no, it's the fullbacks. They don't do enough. They don't underlap. They don't overlap enough. They don't give balance. You see with the 2 passes in pre-season, that pass that's played into the midfield, they're very, very uncomfortable in that. And 2 of the situations that happened, one against Dortmund and one against RC Lens, they resulted in a goal. Because Dalot gave the ball in field, Wan-Bissaka gave the ball in field. Is that a situation where Ten Hag will want to fix, or is it not? And same goes with Luke Shaw as well. Because again, he is 28, 29 now, you know what I mean? So whether he can keep that consistency up as well. So where do you see that?
It's definitely an issue, man. It's definitely an issue because if we look at last season, for example, in terms of passing out from the back, yeah, fine, we have David De Gea, which I don't think is a fair, variable in this, but we actually passed out less to our fullbacks last season than we did the season before Ten Hag came. So that's very telling for especially where Ten Hag wants to play. I think it was 12 times we passed out to our fullbacks in the season before, in terms of the first phase of play in the season before Ten Hag, whereas last season it was 8 times. So it's not really a good look. I think the problem is as well I think midfield, like you said, Saeed, I do agree is the biggest issue. Yeah. We can't control games. Are we meant to control a game if we've got Bruno, Mount, and Casemiro? There's no one there to hold the ball. So Amrabat needs to come in ASAP. But fullbacks are an issue. Luke Shaw, I don't know why people give Luke Shaw stick. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought we had a great season last year. He's one of our best players, to be honest. So if he can keep that up, great. And I think he will keep that up, to be honest. I mean, he's got some confidence now in him. And he's going to keep that confidence going into the next summer. But I think that there was a chat that highlighted it as well. Timber. We missed the ball with him. But yeah, fine, I get it. We had other, aspects of the team that we needed to fill, such a striker, but he would have been very good for us, Timber. Right back is definitely somewhere where where we need to fix. Charlie does raise a good point. Dalot is definitely a better footballer than Wan-Bissaka, but I've always been more of a Wan-Bissaka fan just because I find him a bit more. I find it, just defensively, it's just a bit more assuring having Wan-Bissaka there as opposed to Dalot. But I definitely can see what Charlie's doing with it. Yeah, Dalot going forward's better, but honestly, Saeed, like next summer, we need to sort the fullback area out, like especially right back. Right back is an issue for us, so that definitely is going to be an issue. I mean, it would have been cheeky if we offered Cancelo a chance to come back to the Premier League, but he wouldn't take it, would he? He'd only want to go back to Man City.
He would be crazy to do that. You know what I mean? Especially this day and age now. I think it's one of them. Lindelof has 1 year left on his contract as well. I would have renewed Lindelof's contract. He'd be going on to 30 next summer, so I would have renewed his contract as well. That kind of leads well into Todibo. I don't know if you guys have watched Todibo. Anyone watched Todibo a little bit? Have you done your research? Anyone?
He's solid.
Charlie, you've read. What are we expecting from Todibo? Give us a little bit of a breakdown on Todibo.
Well, you know what? I've got a funny feeling about Todibo. I've got a funny feeling we could see him play as a right back now and again because he is so good in the channels. Like if you actually look up Saeed on. If you want to put it on the stream, you can look up on SofaScore. If you find his heat map from last season, he's actually a centre back, but you'll see his heat map is like in the right channel because he loves to go out to the channel and make duels and win the ball. And that's an issue that could arise if he plays as a right centre back. He's very, very keen on getting out to that wide area and really, engaging with the player, with the attacking player. So that could obviously leave a hole in midfield. And obviously that's where Casemiro can come in and sweep, etc. But Todibo is very, very aggressive and he's very, very good at carrying the ball forward. He's very good at passing the ball forward. He's fantastic on the ball. He could play in a similar, similar to possibly, I'm just thinking maybe similar.
Yeah, you're right in that heat map there. You're talking about this heat map, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if you looked at that, you'd think he was a right back, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You
or maybe a right centre mid or something like that.
But he's very, very quick though, man. And he's, for me, comfortable with both feet. Very tenacious, very, very adventurous in that area. Can leave himself a little bit exposed, but he's so quick, man. And I think that's what the manager will like. It's almost like I'm not saying he's a Varane region, but in terms of that physicality and that, that aggression, he can give you that. I think he's better on the ball than look at here. It says, look here, the discipline. That's what I'm saying to you there. He does like to leave himself open in that aspect, but without risk, there's no reward. He's similar to a little bit like Araujo. Araujo from Barcelona? He leaves himself exposed all the time, but his pace is so frightening. He gets back all the time.
He always has Vinicius. When him and Vinicius always play, I know it was only maybe one game last season. Vinicius, played him quite well, but Araujo always clamped Vinicius. It always was a thing, especially. I mean, always. Whenever I watch the game, I'm like, God, and Vinicius is, I think, probably the best winger in the world. I mean, if you want to class Mbappe, fine, but Vinicius, pure left winger, insane, and the fact that Araujo had him on, clamped him all the time was crazy. But what Charlie says is a very good point. We definitely need to sort right centre back out. That's an issue that needs to be addressed. It's a shame we didn't get Kim Min-jae, but if Todibo comes in,
man,
I'm not against playing him right back if it means Varane's there as well, because we clearly don't have a right back that's a out and out right back coming in. I think that's not a bad shout from Charlie, to be honest. If you have a back four of Shaw, Leacher, Varane, and Todibo, even if it's for like one season, it's not bad. I'll take that.
I think it's just an option, right? Like, it's just an option. Like, if you think about Man City, I think they'll evolve again this year. If you look at Man City losing Gundogan, they brought in Kovacic. They're going to have to get around losing Gundogan. How are they going to do that? They're probably going to have to rely more on their fullbacks this season. They might not be able to use Akanji, Ake, Stones, whoever it may be, as the wide as fullbacks, because they might need a bit more from their fullbacks, because they've not got that attacking midfield player in Gundogan who can arrive late in the box, etc. So managers have got to adapt to players leaving and players joining. And one of Ten Hag's biggest strengths is adaptation. We know that from his Ajax days. We know that. So I'm just saying, Todibo, do I expect him to be the starting right back? No, but it's an option. It's an option in certain games. It is an option because he does. One of his weaknesses is that he's very, very channel heavy, and that's good to stop transitions. to get out to a winger, but obviously that can leave you exposed in the middle. And if you're leaving Martinez, who is he's quite good aerially for his actual height, but we know Martinez, if he comes up against a huge striker, he's likely to lose an aerial battle because it's just really, really hard for him, right? Although I think the aerial duel thing is way overblown, it's still difficult for him. If you're leaving Martinez on his own in the box, or like 2v1 against a striker or a big midfield player, it's obviously gonna hurt us. But that's where Onana comes in with his sweeping, with his dominance. So it's just like pros and cons, and that's what Ten Hag will be weighing up now, pros and cons.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think for me, it's about just understanding the game. And with Varane, Adam saying that he is complaining about the fixtures and the time added on and whatnot. You know what I mean? The thing is, with Lindelof, you are compromising your philosophy just for squad rotation. I think ultimately, the manager wants a Todibo because he wants the same level of aggression and playing out from the back as Varane would do. I'm not saying Lindelof isn't kind of that player, but he hasn't got that aggressive nature that Varane has, the quick recovery, that side of the game. He wants everything to be so good, like generally.
Yeah, he wants physicality everywhere. Like everyone needs. Yeah, and it goes back to what Ragnick said, to be honest, when he kept talking about physicality in every single press conference, when everybody it was a bit tiring, to be honest. But Ten Hag is doing the exact same thing at the moment. Everyone needs to be physical, and I hear that, and I hear the right back situation as well. I agree with Charlie probably on everything you said. To be honest, I would still pick.
No, absolutely.
I would still pick Dalot over Wan-Bissaka, big time. But we need a right back. I wouldn't mind Dalot being the backup. To be honest, I think that would be good. That would be fair. Todibo I haven't watched, to be honest, so I can't give you a full honest opinion. I need to watch him. But there are so many. Let's suppose, for example, there are so many areas we need to improve. Like the midfield is not done for me. We need to send
Amrabat is so key, man. I'll probably pick one more in, but maybe I'm asking for too much in that aspect. I would definitely get one more, but I'm definitely
Amrabat needs to come in. Amrabat has to come in. Amrabat has to come in. He's key.
You know what?
Yeah.
I said this on Twitter yesterday. I said, like, okay, Donny hasn't really been a member of the squad, you could argue, but we've still lost Sabitzer, Donny, probably Fred as well, and possibly McTominay. So we've lost 4 midfield players, right?
Exactly.
Oh, possibly. We've signed Mason Mount. Okay, good. I think he'll be a good squad player. He might. I don't think he'll start as many games if we bring in another midfielder. We might sign Amrabat as well, right? And then you're looking at it. Kobe Mino's injured, and you can't rely on him anyway. I think we really need another midfielder. And I talked the other day about Lavia, and a lot of people came at me, why sign Lavia if we've got Kobe Mino? But I said to people, you can't wait on youth prospects to come good. You've got to sign. And Lavia, he is quite an established player from what I saw last season. I know he's still extremely young, but I think Lavia is good enough to play for a top team right now. Like, I think he's good enough. And we know Casemiro is going to be suspended, unfortunately, next season, right? Imagine Casemiro gets suspended for a big game against the top 6 away from home, and we've just got Amrabat. Well, we're saying we want Casemiro and Amrabat. What happens if we have to play Amrabat, Mount, and Bruno? People will be moaning again and saying, oh, we haven't got the right partner for Amrabat then. So go and sign another player who can play alongside Amrabat or alongside Casemiro if Amrabat gets suspended or injured as well. It would give us Casemiro, Amrabat, new player, Eriksen, Mount, Bruno, and Kobe Mino. And you've got 7 quality players in that. Honestly, that's what I would do.
A player you haven't mentioned there. A big up to Jarvis. He says Hannibal's evident progress in physicality gameplay is quite apparent. His performance across 46 championship games has been undeniable, been so beneficial. Does he deserve a chance? I think it's an unearthed gem, but I think again, I want to see him in Ligue 1. Ligue 1 or the Bundesliga, either high line or technical league. I want to see him either because I want to see if he's a box-to-box, arrives late in the box and he scores goals in a German league, or if he's a technical player enough to play in the 6 or to play as a box-to-box. I want to see what he is. So for me, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't want to play him in the Premier League. I don't want him playing even in Luton Town. I don't want that, because what's going to happen against Luton Town is it's going to be a lot of PMP. It's going to be a lot of put the ball into the box and hoof and whatnot. And he's not going to play that much because when push comes to shove, he won't be used. Whereas if he goes to I don't know, Lyon or a Marseille, or let's say, I don't know, RB Leipzig or something like that, like he could play a vital part into their team. So I don't know what you guys think, but I think for me, he should be out on loan somewhere in that league. Where would you put him, guys? Anyone want to say that before we wrap up?
No, I agree.
Agree 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And going back to what Charlie said about the midfield, you're spot on, man. We were losing Fred, Donny van de Beek, probably McTominay, like you said. Last summer, we signed Casemiro and Eriksen for free, but we lost Pogba and Matic as well. So technically, we don't have more players in midfield. And you could argue the quality has dropped, all things considered. You could make a case. I'm not saying it has, but we don't have as many midfielders, and you need another midfield. Amrabat and another one. A right back, right centre back. Absolutely agree with that. And if let's suppose that the scenario in which Harry Kane stays at Spurs and we get him for free next season, I would go and spend a lot of money on that guy at Napoli on the left wing, Kvatashvili, I think, or the Georgian. And this is another area that I think we need to improve on. I think left wing, we can't rely on Garnacho. I don't think Rashford is good enough. I think Sancho maybe, but maybe not. Right? I'd have Anthony and Sancho on the right wing, and then maybe we figure out something for that right wing. And as much as I like Sancho, and this might sound a bit mad, but I wasn't that much for that signing because I thought Rashford, Sancho was not exactly what we needed at the time for a right wing. I expected him to be more on the left, and as a matter of fact, it happens to be the case. So we need two midfielders, two players in defense, another striker, and I would go for a left wing and a proper left winger. Because Nacho is the closest one we have to that, Sancho, but then again, the fan base doesn't have any patience with them. I think we play worse when Rashford is on the left. I'd much rather have him at number 9, even though I don't think he's good there, but at least he has a less negative impact on the rest. And midfield. So it's a good transfer window, but it's not enough. It's not really not enough.
No, you're right. Big up to Kickstashers. Alexander Golovin from Monaco is world class, 28 million. That's all news to me, man. He was good at 2018 World Cup for Russia, man. I don't think he's that guy, man. Big up to Faz in the building, man. He says agreed. Yeah, man. Man like Adam spitting facts in there, man. So let's see what happens. We're going to discuss more and more as the season goes on, but we are nearly there, people. Monday night, man. It's crazy how, the football season is literally nearly upon us, man. Oh, West Ham.
Oh, no.
Oh, my days. Oh, no. Breaking news, good. West Ham working to conclude the deal for James Ward-Prowse from Southampton.
Great signing.
Wow.
That's not good for us.
That's not good for us, guys, man. A late bomber as we were wrapping up now. That's what I'm saying, guys, man. You have to sometimes just give what they want. Does this mean that no McTominay to West Ham? Guys, I did say to you, man, we have to be careful, man. But the positive people, they say to me, no, don't do that. But West Ham looking to conclude the deal to sign James Ward-Prowse with Southampton as soon as possible. Southampton are keen for 28-year-old to face Norwich on Saturday, but now facing the increasing likelihood that it will be his final game for the boyhood club. Good move, good player. Great. I think he's a decent player. For West Ham, he'll do a good job. Him and Edson Fernandez in that midfield will do well. But this is what it means, man. This is what it means. Does it mean now that Manchester United may not get the money for Scott McTominay? Do we end up just saying now, before we wrap up, that we just say, you know what, McTominay sell? Or has it gone to the fact that West Ham are now going to move on now in that aspect?
I think West Ham move on now. I think we might look at other players. Maybe Gary O'Neill is probably going to be coming in at Wolves. They could do with another midfielder, to be honest. They lost like Neves, Moutinho went as well this summer. Maybe try and offload it to him, but doesn't look like West Ham. I can't see West Ham signing him now. I really don't think they're going to sign him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Charlie, quick thoughts on that?
I still think they need another physically imposing midfielder. And I think they've got Alvarez. If they sign Ward-Prowse, they've obviously got Souček, Paqueta. How much is Rice?
They don't need him.
Was it 100, 105?
Yeah.
So they spent 35 on Alvarez. And then how much is Ward-Prowse? Does it say Said in the thing? Like in the 25
no, it doesn't
million?
say the price. Yeah. Does it say
They've
the
still
price?
got
Athletic, you have
probably
to pay for it.
got-
Oh, no, nothing on there.
I think they're more
Nothing
likely
on
to
there.
go for Maguire than Charlie. What do you reckon? Because
Yeah, that's what I'm
I think
saying. So we've got
I
Edson
think they'll go for
Alvarez,
Maguire, but
Paqueta. They've got Paqueta, Edson Alvarez. They've got now James Ward-Prowse. They've got Souček. And they've also got that Downs kid. Do you know the Downs kid that's coming up now?
God,
Downs.
we got to pause after you saying that.
He's a wing back, isn't he? I don't know. But
Oh,
someone said,
midfielder.
they also sold Schmacker for some money. They also sold Schmacker for some money.
Flynn Downs, 24 years old.
They might be in for a
But
striker.
I think he plays as a wing back for him. I'm sure he does, unless I'm wrong.
I think we're going to keep McTominay this summer.
Is he a swinger?
You know what, man?
Central midfielder. Flynn Downs.
Yeah, but Moyes ball, innit? Moyes ball puts Moyes puts him a wing back.
Exactly.
As well, but he's more of a winger. In that
Maguire will probably go. I think Europa League probably.
Maguire now.
You know, I think Maguire's definitely the
take
sell.
25 and a run.
So who else from who else do you think would go for McTominay? Newcastle, maybe? Do you think they might go for him? I don't know.
I can't see. I think Wolves. I think we can try and offer for Wolves. The Wolves they badly need players. They've signed no midfielders of note. They signed Cunha. He's a striker.
Yeah, teach them some Portuguese words, man, and send them to Wolves.
Yeah. Because like they are struggling.
Put him masterclass on against Wolves. Start him against Wolves. Put a masterclass on. Send him on.
So I want to know, before I wrap up, I want to know all them people that were coming at me yesterday. Oh, go and get him. I said, guys, take the money and run, because this is what's going to happen. What? Not even 24 hours later. And what's happened now is that now Southampton are basically getting rid of their asset, and they're going to probably make a nice little change this summer. They've sold the right back. They've sold Lavio. They're going to sell Lavio, and they're selling James Ward-Prowse. So you know what? You lot that were accountants yesterday and thinking about Man United getting short change for players. You know what? Sometimes what they say in life is be humble and take the money. That's what they say, you know. Sometimes you got to be humble and just take the money, man, because it's not all about money in life sometimes, you know. But listen, guys, it's been a very, very interesting late vibes. Fredman, Chazo, any Freds coming soon? Anything on the works? What are you working on?
Yeah, I'm working on Todibo right now. So yeah, I'm working on the Todibo one.
Come on.
I've got Amrabat as well on the way, hopefully. Next few weeks, hopefully we get those two players, man.
And then we can actually have football in Freds as well, in terms of what we play, style of play, you know, and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's going to be a good one. So make sure you're following Ferdman Chazo on YouTube as well. He's going to be soon back. He's got a bit of a hiatus right now, but he'll be soon back on YouTube and giving you good content. Sandy, that sports guy, big up to you for joining us as usual. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. Just back to work, but YouTube is picking up slowly. So are the reels. If you're interested in a Man United competition, I've got one running. Start of the season. Basically, you do predictions in the reels. If you get them right, you get points. Go in a league. There's some prizes at the end of the season. Make sure you check it out.
Come on.
Yeah, there you go, people. Make sure you do that. Adam, the professor, what you got going up, man?
Lots of reading and writings, man. So nothing very, very exciting, but yeah, classic Twitter and Adam Manred on Twitter just being honest. I think it's quite rare these days, just being honest, regardless of what comes my way. And this is how I'm going to keep it, to be honest. The players that are favorites in the fan base, I'm telling you, there are some of those favorites that need dropping, and some of them need to be shipped far away, man. So it just is what it is. It just is what it is. And next week we will have played that game next Tuesday. So
so we'll definitely discuss that. So next Tuesday, our show next Tuesday, we'll be discussing Monday night. So hopefully we'll have good positive stuff to talk about, in that aspect. So yeah, man, big up to everybody who's watched the show. If you would deeply, like I said to you, leave a like on their way out. That would be very, very good for the channel. in that aspect. So please do support the channel and hit the like button. And we'll be back tomorrow 1 p.m. I think I've got a show with James Redmond. I think we're going to do the who's going to be relegated, who's going to be surprise package of the season, who's going to be top scorer. We're going to do all of that predictions in that one. So people, make sure you tune into that show. And yeah, man, support the guys on their channels. And we'll see you next week, guys. Take care. Bye. Big up, guys, man. Sorry for overgoing, but you know what? That was crazy. Imagine that. You stay there and the McTominay news comes up and then it's a whole different talking point in that aspect. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. Big up to you guys, man.
I'm going to send you a message. I'm going to send you a message, Si, because I'm going to be in Manchester in the afternoon. I'm staying over on Monday night. So if you're free in the afternoon or something in Manchester, like we might meet up or something in the afternoon. I'll send you a message about it anyway on Monday.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? Just let me know. You know, because I've got a show at 12 and then I'll just jump out after that. So yeah, let me know.
I'll send you a message. Yeah, that's sound,
man. Definitely. Sandy, are you going to the game?
I'm not. I'm gonna message James. I'm gonna message James, see if I can get anything. If I can't, then it's fine. It's no problem.
All right then. Say no more. All right, boys. See you in a bit.
Take care, guys.
All right.
See you in a bit.
That was class. Cheers, bro.
That was class. Yeah, definitely, man. Oh, sorry, people. I thought. Yo, what was I doing, man? I was like, yo, why the chat still stealing that? Wow, that's what we do. By the way, yeah, if you wanted to know what we do after the live, we talk about things in life. So, luckily, I didn't say anyone or slander anyone because I would have been cancelled. But yeah, it just shows you I'm good-hearted, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, guys, finally, I'm going to say to you bye-bye and enjoy your night. Thank you.